For generations, we've been told the same thing. Real estate is the absolute surest path to getting rich. But what if one of the smartest investors on the planet says that for most people, that's just completely wrong? Let's get into Warren Buffett's pretty surprising case against it.
And there it is, right from the man himself, a lousy investment. I mean, for an asset that has such a glamorous, untouchable reputation, that's a pretty stunning thing to say. So why does he think it's just a huge distraction from way better ways to build real wealth?
Okay, so to be fair, let's just admit why we all love real estate. It's got this powerful psychological pull because it's tangible. You can walk up to it, you can touch it, you can see it. And come on, the stories about flipping houses and cashing rent checks, they sound amazing. It just feels safe.
Buffett actually tells this great story about a farm he bought to make his point. He said, look, I know nothing about farming, but that wasn't the point. He looked at what it could produce, what the costs were, and he figured out its ability to generate cash. He wasn't betting that the price of the farm would go up. He was investing in it as a productive business. And this brings us right to the core of his argument for why real estate is a bad idea for the average person. See, most people don't treat it like a business. Instead, they walk right into a classic trap.
And here's the trap: speculation. Buffett argues that instead of actually analyzing a property's cash flow, people just get caught up in guessing where prices are headed. They buy a place hoping to sell it for more in a year or two. He says that's not investing. That's just gambling.
Okay, this is where we get to the most powerful part of the whole argument: opportunity cost. Every single dollar you put into one thing is a dollar you can't put somewhere else. And this is where the mathematical magic of compounding really enters the picture.
So when you look at the historical data, we're talking long stretches of time, the stock market, which we'll represent with the S&P 500, has consistently done better than real estate, usually by a few percentage points every single year. So the stock market, which is really just you owning a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in America, has historically returned about 10% per year on average. And then you've got real estate clocking in around 7%. Now, I know what you're thinking. 3%, what's the big deal? Well, that tiny little gap, thanks to compounding, becomes absolutely enormous. Just look at this. See how that small difference plays out over time? Over a 40-year period, that little 3% gap can create a staggering $3 million difference in your final nest egg. That right there is the hidden cost of choosing the investment that just feels safer. But it's not just about the math. Buffett is quick to point out that owning a physical thing, like a house, comes with a whole set of real-world problems and headaches that owning a stock just doesn't. First up is liquidity, or, the total lack of it. Think about it. With a stock, you can sell a piece of it in seconds if you see a better opportunity. With a house, your cash is literally tied up in the bricks. You can't just sell the kitchen when you need some money. It's a slow, expensive headache to sell. And then you've got all the hidden costs that nobody ever talks about in the success stories. Property taxes, insurance, repairs, tenants moving out. As Buffett loves to say, you never have to replace the roof on Apple. With property, these little costs are constantly eating away at your actual profits. And that's really the crucial point here. This whole idea of passive income from real estate, it's often a total myth. Dealing with tenants, burst pipes at 2 a.m., vacancies, that's not passive. That's a job, and it's one that'll definitely keep you up at night. Okay, so this is the obvious question, right? You're probably thinking, hold on a second. If real estate is so lousy, why does Warren Buffett himself own a house? His answer is so important because it clarifies his entire philosophy. See, he makes this incredibly sharp distinction. He bought his house to be a home. It's a place for his family, for stability, for happiness. He sees that as a wonderful purchase for your life. But, he says, you should never, ever confuse your home with an investment that's designed to make you rich. All right, so if chasing real estate returns is the wrong road for most of us trying to build wealth, then what's the right one? What does Buffett say we should be doing instead? Well, his advice is actually pretty simple. Invest in things that actually produce value. Own a piece of a business that makes stuff people want to buy, or a farm that grows food people need to eat. Don't just own an asset and cross your fingers, hoping its price goes up. So, what's his actual game plan? It's remarkably simple. Step 1, for most people, just buy a broad, low-cost index fund. Own the whole market. Step 2, if you want to dig deeper, learn how to identify fantastic, durable companies. And step 3, and this is the most important one, remember that the highest return you'll ever get comes from investing in yourself. So, when you boil it all down, the choice Buffett lays out is crystal clear. You can own productive businesses that quietly compound your money while you sleep, or you can deal with the constant costs, the headaches, and the speculative temptation of physical property. One is an investment, the other is often just a second job in disguise. And that really leaves us with one critical question we should ask ourselves about our own strategies. With any investment you make, ask yourself this: am I buying this for its long-term ability to produce value, or am I just betting that someone else will pay me a higher price for it later on? According to Buffett, knowing the answer to that question is the real key to building wealth.